my future. And she says, shape my future, let me source the unimagined, be released from the sentence of the inevitable, take control, empower myself, past the dour predictions of the present, change myself, shape my future, challenge our first world's capitalists. This is a big problem in the world because it's about greed, consumerist criminals of perpetual purchasing. Shape my future, and this is goes on past, and she goes on and on. She's shape my future, curdle the milk of corporate kindness. You know, they make it so easy for us to think that, you know, they give you the credit card, buy this and buy this with money that you really can't. You know, so patronizing rattle of charity cans, and then I put words in it that we have to. You see this word resist all things. So we got to resist these things, you know, and it goes on, and you know.
So this is your work is very activist. Social activist.
I'm an activist all my life. So, and this is, you know, I did this series called the Blood series, and you know how being an activist, I was against the Iraq War and stuff like that, and being out protesting in all the marches and stuff like that against the Iraq War. And this is a poem by Frederick Douglass about if you want freedom, you have to be active. You know, he says, those who profess to favor freedom and yet deprecate agitation are men who want crops without plowing up the ground. They want rain without thunder and lightning. They want the ocean without
awful roar of its waters.
Okay.
The struggle may be a moral one, or it may be a physical one. May be both moral and physical. Must be a struggle. Mm-hmm. Power concedes nothing without a demand. It never did, it never will. Mm-hmm. Find out just what people will submit to, and you have found out the exact amount of injustice and wrong which will be imposed upon them. And these will continue until they are resisted, with either words or blows or with both. The limits of tyrants are prescribed by the endurance of those when they
oppress,
whom
they oppress.
And
it's by Frederick Douglass.
1857, focus for.
Yeah. So that's what this is, and again, using African symbol, this is symbol of God. Use the Shango symbol a lot, as you see the devil. This is a literal symbol. Shango is like a double axe figure, and I use that as a symbol because it represents power, you know, and we have to empower ourselves and stuff like that.
So you always make the connection back to the African symbol.
Well, you have to, because if you're if we're the birth of civilization, the cradle of mankind, maybe you need to go and look at yourself first, because where do all these sciences and the development of civilization come from? You know, comes from those civilizations. They come from you're you know, benefited from that and took it and went someplace with it. But you have to go back to this. And if you don't have that kind of consciousness, you'll find yourself primarily buying into what other people tell you is what's right, what's wrong, what's values. What did you have? I always like to tell the story of when I was a little boy. My parents are from the South. So, but at that time, we didn't have supermarkets and stuff like that. If they wanted something, they said, go down to the marketplace and buy some greens and get a chicken and have them kill it. And you eat everything fresh. Yeah. So, people looked more healthy then.
Yes.
You know, because but when the television came in the house and had the pretty woman in the kitchen in the high heel saying, listen, you don't need to be shucking those beans. Buy this can of string beans and stuff. I said, that started the whole thing. The television and the processed food.
Right, right.
You know, and look how we look now.
Right.
Okay, so the point is that here we go all the way back to the beginning. You know, again with here I go. It's called history. You got to know history, then you can understand things and put it in perspective better. Because if you don't know history, you're gonna just talk about things from where you came in the picture.
The foundation isn't a concrete foundation. This is their foundation.
It's superficial. That's why
That's the word
some of this pop music that we hear today, it's so weak. It's weak. You know, one time, one of my nieces a few years ago, she said to me, "Oh, Beyonce is the best thing going." I said, "But in comparison to who?" I said, "How would you compare her to Aretha Franklin? How would you compare her to Chaka Khan? How would you compare her to Dionne Warwick? On and on and on."
They don't.
You know, Ella Fitzgerald, Nat King Cole. I mean, on and on and on. So if they don't know it, they can't compare. You got to know history. You have to know history. Yeah. So I'm a socialist.
I never realized that, but now I see the work is clear. It's more than clear.
Yeah, it's social, but I'm always trying to take it on in terms of who we are, not to just stay there. Like I'm thinking about doing a series. I don't know if I'm gonna get to it, but I said, you know, it's just like you take the presidential elections. If whoever would win could just win by only having the black vote, the black people would really have to get. You need allies, you need other people. So we can't, even for our own struggle, you can't just depend on only black people. You'd be in denial. We thought that in the 60s, you know, that wasn't sophisticated. You need all kinds of allies who are on the same page of what you're struggling for. You know, like I heard that Georgetown University, I think it is, wants to give descendants because they sold slaves. Yeah, and so now they want to give descendants of Africans
Like a break or something?
Yeah, to let them an opportunity to go to the school, but they still have to pay for it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's a beginning, but it's not the end.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but it takes people to be conscious to know what to struggle for and to know what people are doing right, because you might think you have the whole picture, but you only have half of the picture.
Well, that's why the art is so important.
That's why art is always so important.
To see a piece like this and chew on it for an hour or 2 hours to understand the really significance, and not just from a media standpoint.
That's right. That's
but
right.
from an artistic standpoint, where the artist speaks from his heart through art.
And you know, because especially, well, in any society, any government, it doesn't matter what system, they're going to put out what favors them.
Of course.
You know? So you got to know the truth for yourself too. You know, because otherwise you're just buying what they have to say to you. You know. But and then also I try to make pieces that make the viewer come back to it again and again, where they can't get it all at one time.
Well, you can't get it all.
It has to go on and on and on. So it's like listening to a good piece of jazz or classical music.
You go
back to
that is the art. Yes.
You go back again.
Marvin Gaye's "What's Going On."
That's right. That's right.
You go back
because this same question is here. It was a question when you came here on the ship.
What's going on?
What's going on? You know, are people going to do right? You know, what's their perspective? Are they for right, or are they just for what they think is right?